see what we just did?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 big budget Netflix action film Back in Action. The film is co-written and directed by Seth Gordon and it stars Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz, McKenna Roberts, Ryland Jackson, Glenn Close and Andrew Scott. Right, okay, the film follows Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz as character Matt and Emily. They are, at the beginning of the film, two CIA top operatives. They work together, but they also have started dating. They end up falling in love. She gets pregnant, and they decide to leave the spy world behind, fake their deaths, and head off and have a family. 15 years later, their enemies catch up with them because they want some kind of device that they believe they still have, and it's for them to now go on the run with their children and try and stay safe. Right, what are my thoughts on Back in Action? Well, for the cynics out there, this is essentially another one of those big budget Netflix action films, you know, very slick, top names in there, lots of money thrown at it, and all that business. And you're right, it is all of those things. It definitely is. It's very generic, very formulaic, and it feels like it's one of those films that has just been spat out by AI. You know, if someone sat there in front of AI and explained the film they want to make, and then it spat out this script and this film. There's no heart and no soul to this film, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it isn't. It is quite entertaining. It's quite a fun watch. You know, you throw enough money at anything and there's some fun to be had in it, I suppose. And this is a very, very watchable action film. It's got bits and pieces of all sorts of action films that you've seen before. Things like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Family Plan, the Mark Wahlberg film that I think came out, was it 2023? I think that was an Apple TV exclusive, where he was like an ex-spy that went off to have a family life. And, you know, they all kind of, I think, just pinch from each other. I don't think anybody really gives a monkeys. They just kind of think, sod it, we'll do a version of that film that came out a couple of years ago, or we'll take some bits from this film over here, and you know, and then we'll throw some money at it, hire some stars, and get a competent director, and we're in. We'll do it, you know, and that's what they do here. You know what I mean? There is zero originality in this film. Zero. There's none. But again, you know, it's got competent people on board that, you know, the action looks great. It's very slick. You know, you hear me complaining sometimes watching lower budget action films, you know, when the choreography is poorly done and it's sloppy, and I don't buy it like when you've got female action stars in these lower budget films and it doesn't come off as believable. Just the other week, or last week, I reviewed that new Stallone film, Alarum, with Willa Fitzgerald, and that was my complaint in that. I didn't believe her as an action, doing it in the action scenes. Whereas in this, I absolutely believed Cameron Diaz were kicking ass, because they made it look like she was kicking ass, and I bought it, and it looked impactful, and it worked. So the action scenes are brilliantly done. There's a great sequence at the beginning of the film with a plane sort of thing that I thought was very well executed. You know, a lot of the action scenes here, while you may say they lack originality, are very, very well done. And, you know, it's one of those films where you can just put your feet up, have a few cans, and, you know, just enjoy it and click your brain off, I suppose, is the best way to describe it, because this ain't going to win no awards, as I've said, for originality, but it certainly is competently made. Now, there's obviously going to be a lot of interest in this, because this is Cameron Diaz's first film since 2014, I think, since Annie. So she hasn't been on screen for approximately 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. So there's going to be a lot of interest in this, and she's not really missed a trick. You know, she's still got that charm, that Cameron Diaz charm. She's still got that. I think what works here in this is is the lightness, and there's like a comedy charm to the film. I mean, it doesn't lean really heavily into comedy or anything like that, but just some of the remarks that both her and Jamie Foxx, because they're both, talented in regards to comedy. And they've got great comedy timing on screen, and it works because they both have their moments, to come out with little quips and one-liners and things like that. And I just thought, the writing was good for them. So it was nice to see Cameron Diaz back. Jamie Foxx was essentially Jamie Foxx. He's reliable in these type of films. Glenn Close played Cameron Diaz's mother in this film, and I thought she was fun. Her character was a lot of fun, sort of thing. They were estranged, sort of thing, so she has to go to London to see her mum, and I liked that. And she kind of has like this toy boy, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. It's called Nigel. And they lean a bit too heavily into the comedy for him, I thought. He was like the comedy sidekick. I'm not sure I enjoyed his character so much because he was so obviously trying to be the comedy sidekick. The kids were all fine. They weren't overly annoying, I suppose. They were, but there's no denying it. They were a little bit annoying. The daughter especially was very entitled, I suppose. Like a lot of teenage girls these days. So you've got that whole storyline where, she's lost that connection with her daughter, Cameron Diaz, and, they're all going to kiss and make up by the end, sort of thing. And they do some... There's quite a clever trick in the film. Now, they cast someone here in this film who you immediately look at and you think, bad guy. He's the bad guy. That is the bad guy. It's so obvious that's the bad guy. And they flip it around a bit. So what you expect to happen doesn't happen. I suppose if you really think about it, it won't take a rocket scientist to kind of figure out the twist or the flip in regards to the villain and all this kind of stuff. But it was nice, if you like it. Some of these films can be incredibly lazy and just, don't even make an attempt to do something like that. So, very generic, very formulaic. It's easy to be a cynic with these type of films, and Netflix is full of these big budget action films. They're all very forgettable, but they're all very watchable at the same time, and this is no different. Will I watch this again? Probably not. It is not memorable really in any way, shape or form, but it's an hour and a half or a little bit longer that, didn't feel my time was wasted, I suppose. I mean, that's not really much in regards to selling this film, is it? I don't feel as though my time were wasted. But, it's Netflix. You got Netflix, pop it on a Friday, Saturday night, and you might certainly enjoy it. So beyond that, don't expect a classic by any standard. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.